We're live. Shout to Queen Prodigy and Zabella for showing up. Shout to all the commenters that showed up. There's a particular subject and situation that I wanted to swiftly mention that literally we were shut off when we were talking about. And give me a second while I get things going. And let me go look at something real quick as we're pushing forward. Okay, so there was a question that I asked that literally our first live shut off at, so we could see. I had trouble getting this live started. I don't know what the issue was. Didn't make sense, but we got it fixed. There's something I want to put out there, okay? And this is what I want to quickly mention. Were either of you aware of the record deals on the table that he turned down? Because he had a lot of esteem behind him and he turned his back on it.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so
the one that I am aware of is with Carolina Records as a distribution company, and that's where around that time is when I believe that he got jumped by the Migos. So the stipulation behind that was that he wanted to have his travel expenses covered, and they refused to do so. So he terminated his contract with them, to which I'm assuming must have upset the corporation, and maybe they must have got their dogs on them to handle it.
Do most companies cover travel expenses?
Usually, yeah. But I'm assuming there's a little bit more of a stipulation when you're an independent artist.
Okay. Well, he was independent, and part of him being involved in that would be to make him not an independent artist, right?
Correct.
So I wanted to bring this point up, and I enjoy when we do these lives, not only because I know you guys' mentality, understanding your character behind the scenes, and realizing you in comparison to a lot of other people that I do see saying things awkward. Hit that like button. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I appreciate it. Again, I said in the first video I released that and make sure you get the notification, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the bell. That is the way to know you'll get notifications in the future, because next week is going to be lit. This live stream and different things we talked about just confirmed things that I was thinking of behind the scene. What's up, Heroin Father? Heroin Father, I don't know exactly. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my phone just cut off.
Oh, okay, you're good. Heroin Father, I want to talk to you behind the scenes. I never knew exactly who you were. I seen some interesting things you posted, and that's what made me curious about who you were. So thank you for sliding in here. I wanted to make this known that TheCzarr does not have any. A lot of people have issues with Cleo, and regardless of the accusation, I do not have any issue with her, and I'm going to publicly tell y'all why. The reason I don't have an issue with her is not only because me having lost a mother, I can only imagine what it's like a mother losing a son. On top of that, we don't have any evidence to even show that it was someone around him affluently in a family manner. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think there's more to the situation. Like even this live, notifications were working well and you saw the audience we got, but now all of a sudden they're not. And it came up that our video was interrupted abruptly at certain points of contact. So I'm only going to revisit two other questions. My other question was this, Zabella. Were you at any of these functions that you knew, well, we now know X to have been at, involving his friendships?
Yeah.
Now, is there anything factor-wise, and Queen, are you able to co-sign that Zabella at one point was in a living space with affiliates or X?
That is the main thing that I was confirming yesterday when she was making her statement, that I confirmed it through another source that she did live there at the time when Ski and Ja were in that home.
Okay. So that confirms what she has said to me. Now, here's what I'd like to know. And here's the thing. Zabella is going to be doing work-related trips and doing different things that she does to make a living. Is it true or false that these people are making?
I didn't hear anything you just said.
Is it true or false that these people are in a position where they may say that they're trying to look for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want it to be known on record that along with these threats that affiliated parties around, they're looking to meet up with her in some way with malicious intentions. This has been publicly stated and publicly confirmed. So if this were to go down, we know that there was premeditation in the actions of any individuals that came in contact during her being harmed, whether it's the exact affiliates or it's someone who is a simp enough to get paid or to take some type of compensation in order to make contact with her. This is publicly stated. This is now known. So there will be no future accusations or anything. It's stated and known. And I have receipts to prove this. Now, next question. What are your thoughts on these individuals that are involved? And when I say that, do you believe that the individuals involved have profited already off of the demise of?
Yeah.
Okay, is it monetary gain or is it a career gain? What type of gain are we looking at?
It's a little bit of everything.
Okay. Now, do these individuals or have they ever worked a job?
Like 4 or 5 of them have had normal jobs, but the rest were just mooches.
So when you say moochers, you mean like they were bringing in no revenue?
Yeah, basically, they were like living off of eggs and Ski.
Okay. So it's now understood that X and Ski were literally, their hard work was being used and taken advantage of by other individuals around who were not working normally to provide a means for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of these individuals originally from the Florida area?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there situations in which their parental guidance was not apparent in their life?
A lot of them, actually.
Okay. So who would be the guidance and the source of teaching to manifest their mentality around doing the things they did to a point in which they would end up in this situation? Do you have any sort of proof to show that he was a guidance figure to them?
Yeah, he was our manager.
So did he make them sign contracts?
That I know of, no, but he would do like a blood oath.
And how is this oath performed?
Basically just cutting yourself open, trading blood. And if not, for the females, he would have them do a weird sexual praise to him.
What would this praise indicate and be indicative of?
It's like a prayer for him to basically be a king, like worshiping him.
What would the average number of women that have taken this special oath? What would be the number?
I really don't know, but there's a lot of them.
So
and I feel bad.
The ones that have taken this oath, the women, was part of this oath having intercourse.
Yeah, of course.
So was he protected when he was doing this?
No. If it was a new girl that didn't get tested, yeah.
So the reason they're comfortably doing this is because they test themselves and then they do this.
Yeah. Well, remember, he does porn, so he can walk up in there whenever he wants. Basically. Well, that's his attitude.
Okay. Got you. Does he have a publicly noted and legal business name for his? Okay. And where are most what's the beginning letter of this production company?
L.
Okay. All right, we're in accordance.
L.
Okay. I can only you don't have to finish it. So with this and with this being done, were there investigators or any sort of authority that were interacting with the girls too?
Yeah.
Were there any authority or investigators that were abusive to the girls?
Yes.
And have you visually witnessed this?
No.
Okay. How would you have knowledge of this?
They would talk about it. The house isn't that big. You know, you could hear through walls. You could hear through walls loud and clear.
Okay. Here's what I need to understand. So I get that part about the women, the investigators. I get that part. Were they normally showing up at his residence?
Yeah. He has parties there at least like 2-3 times a month.
Okay. So are any of these affiliates a blood relative of his?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll stop there. Okay. So I just want to say that knowing that means he felt the power of connection to act in a way. No, let me ask this. Is this a way he maintained some type of power and fearlessness to being subjugated to indictment?
Yeah.
Did any of these suspects have knowledge or association to him?
Yeah. They used to come over the house and record with X.
Got you. So even though they may have fallen out with X, were they still cool with him?
Of course. He never kicks any resources he needs out.
Okay. Well, I'm not even going to say exactly. Yes, understood. So
that's exactly what he does. He uses everybody.
I see it. Now let me ask you this, Queen Prodigy. The fact that these oaths are being taken and these women are willingly involved in that's not a crime. But the abuse part, the investigators being compromised, that's a crime. Would you agree?
I definitely do.
So knowing this and not saying any names, knowing that you have had contact and knowledge of other individuals and people around the scenes, is it possible any of the other individuals that may have been closer to X's existence than his had knowledge of these parties and other indications of these interactions?
Yes, because some of them go to the parties. I have screenshots of them recently throwing a party.
Okay, we'll stop there. But let me ask this one part about it. Were there any secret interactions going on with?
There was a shit ton of guns and gang signs, and it was all VR and members only.
Well, that's just allegedly. That's allegedly, because we don't know exactly. Even if we do know, we don't have the exact photos of these things. So, are you saying that the investigators that are interacting are aware of that type of activity at these parties?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any investigators throwing the gang signs with them?
That I don't know.
Okay. So now that we understand that the investigators can be potentially compromised and be around and knowledgeable about illegal carry, let me ask this. Were there felons involved with this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is a crime as an investigator. Not only that, that's not only a crime for the situation, but that's a crime to get your badge pulled and put you in prison. But that's fine. Are you aware of any investigators that have taken an oath with anyone at that place?
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Okay. So that makes a solid connection between authorities and the indication of compromise, as I stated in episode like 40. Okay. So let me go forward. Moving forward.
And me predicting that months ago, indeed. So just to add in.
With us knowing this and knowing these type of interactions, is it possible, or do you know of a direct scenario that could have placed someone that was in X's life in high esteem in a situation of oath, whether it's a woman in sexual nature or a man in this blood oath?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that someone right next to him has taken an oath with these individuals, and X may not have known about it.
Yes. And that was the problem.
Got you. So
that's why the word sacrifice kept coming up.
Okay, understood. Now, is it possible that one of the individuals around may have violated and or been engaged in activity with someone around him he loved as more than just a passerby?
Yeah, a couple of them. Like 4 or 5 of them. 4 or 5, yeah.
Okay. Now, at this party, do they run trains on women?
Yeah.
Do they run trains on men?
Yeah. Depending. It depends who's behind the door.
What does that mean? It depends who's behind the door.
The flexible one.
Okay. Got you. So
it's his choice.
Let me ask this. So assuming that there's a person behind the walls and they may have the mystique to look at a woman as a man, was it possible they mess with them before a transition into the full presence of a woman was made?
Yes.
So this was essentially still messing with someone who's working through their transition, and they weren't tricked into this situation?
Repeat that again?
They weren't tricked into thinking it was actually a woman?
No.
Okay.
Because they would willingly invite that person back there, you know? So it was just like, you can't mistake that. You really can't. You cannot mistake that.
So from your knowledge of being in the industry and coming across this type of feat, you as a woman knew immediately that it was not a woman?
Yeah, you can tell. The hands, the neck, the shoulder the shoulder blades, the collarbones, your chin.
So we're confirming that this person was having others bent over.
Yeah, that's what he's known for.
So
you're surprised. That's exactly what he's known for.
So everyone around him knows that he participates in this?
Most likely, because they act the same way.
Has he ever come out as stating he is bisexual and or homosexual?
No, he's not going to.
Has he ever used derogatory words to bash or demean that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
The F word.
Yes, exactly. You don't need, I know. You don't okay. So the respect level given, the fact that he has bashed this lifestyle is hard because I know of the situations, the audio and things you mean of him demeaning the lifestyle, but he's behind the door doing it frequently. Correct? Not just once in a while, but all the time almost.
Yeah.
Against it, but this person bashes you. He said like mean stuff about you. But when I found out this was happening, I was like, what? I was like, but this was said. That was said. All right. So we now know investigators show up to a party, a place where weapons are readily reachable and they do not perform their duties that they take an oath for under the state law to federal law to abide by the rules and to not let these type of things go unnoticed. So this being told, is it probable that these same individuals could abuse law to potentially cause harm to you or anyone else who speaks up?
Say that again. The last question.
Is it probable that these same investigators could be used for their connections to reach other compromised lawmen to attempt to do something to you?
Yes.
I want it to be noted that this is a possible situation where compromised law can make calls and abuse their power to make connections with other compromised lawmen to abuse the law. I want that to be noted. Let that be noted right now, publicly. So
if R. Kelly can use people to cover his trail for wellness checks, what makes anyone with authority and power make them any different?
Well, let me say this. Even though he's being talked about on VH1 and stuff, let's back off because he beat the case in court. He did beat a case in court where all of these accusations came against him. I do want to say that. So let's note he did beat a case. Whether how he did it, we're not discussing it, but he did beat a case. But this is a situation where compromised lawmen did not speak on something and or were participating in the euphoric moments that some of these other individuals were in. I wanted to make that clear about how law was involved in breaking the law, but not this exposing the truth of what was occurring. Even the factor of probable or alleged felons with weapons, which is against law readily in that very state. That's what we're noting, because these individuals can utilize their resources that are reacting from a certain stance to try to make someone be quiet, but they're abusing the law while using the law. Listen, let me tell you this as an officer. You can't play criminal and play good guy. It doesn't work.
You
You can, but when you get served the right way, you'll stop. And here's what I want to ask now. Is it possible that any of these investigators have any family, as in kids or a wife?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Don't say nothing. I know. That's why I'm not. I told you I'm not playing with you. Didn't I say I'll make sure your wives know? I'll make sure your kids know. I already said that stuff. I'm not dumb to this. I just wanted to be known that I am not just talking. That it is not just thrown out there. That's locally. That's foreign. I know y'all. And if I want to, I can make your wife know tomorrow.
Do it.
But I play it respectfully, because when I go for an enemy such as that, I want it to be the end all be all. When I say that, I don't ever want to hear about them again. I don't want to hear their mouth. I fully deal with my enemies. I don't play with it. I never been that. Never. So that's why I speak about it this way, because when you have lawmen abusing law, but making law think it's one thing, but you're doing something else, and you play with the law because someone in suit with you beside you may have dirt on you because they push you into a dirty situation to behave a certain way. You feel a level of power to conduce activities and continually do them. And when they do arrest, I realize that it's not to arrest, but it's to re-up on your product so you don't have to go buy it. I know this. I know. Trust me. So usually when someone's arrested for work, a large amount of work, what people don't talk about is what happens with that work when it goes. But if certain people are in certain positions, that work can appear at parties and appear at other places. And that is how they can make a side chunk of change other than the salary they're abusing off of our tax money.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm well aware of this. That's why I don't play locally. I don't play with none of you. Look, there's been times I've been profiled. I looked him in his eyes and I said exactly what he was. And he was looking at me like, what in the? Because you made, and look, now you got a marker over you because you rubbed shoulders with a real mental monster. That means that I marked you. You're not hard to see. Any of you that come in contact with me and do little things, you can think you get away, but I mark you every time. Every time we meet eyes, I mark you because I'm a different type of human being. But we're going to get into something else. Let's get into something else now. So now that we understand that to be the case, and we describe that so the public knows different things about what's actually being talked about, I have a question that both of you can answer individually. We talked about yesterday how the bank video and things. Are any of you aware of a mall fight that went down shortly after it was revealed on the news that this superstar was deceased?
A mall fight?
Yes. Okay, Queen.
I will say that I have heard stories, but I cannot confirm or deny.
Okay. We're moving on then. Moving on. The next thing I want to note is, do any of you know the fact that less than soon after it was DJ Sonny and Pitchfork had released something. Now, it was alleged DJ Sonny gave it to them. That's what Pitchfork said. Did any of you see the news broadcast that was building a characteristic of an abuser live on their news about this deceased rapper?
Yeah.
What would be the reason that they would not be lawfully held?
Well, for one, I did not see it on actual TV, but I did see it getting flooded all over the internet with the clips that were posted. But immediately when that happened, I began to justify his innocence immediately because I knew something was off about that situation. And then shortly after, that's when the full clip was exposed. Keep in mind, this man did pass away, and in the state of Florida, it is to be known that once you pass on, you are officially an innocent man of any trial or anything that is standing against you in the court of law. That's why I started defending him, because there's no way in hell he beat this girl.
Hit that like button if you're coming through. Hit it.
There's no way in hell he beat this girl. I'm telling you, I was with him. I lived with him. I was with him. If we had a problem, he would have settled it, because he settles everything.
So I have investigators' name who was related to this case. Is it possible that any of these investigators were related to this case at all in a way that they could have taken a lie and made it truth?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have their names. So if I did link one of these investigators and they could allegedly have been suspended to this case of his death, is it possible that I can link the same ones to being involved in the situation with the lie that was made up about the beating?
Yes, because they all hang out.
Okay, so here's the thing. Who is in charge of making sure that the wrong people do not enter these parties?
Our manager.
He did a bad job.
I know. That's why I...
Okay, wait. So is it safe to say he is now a liability because everything is known behind the scenes, not just from this questioning, but if these liabilities aren't handled on their part, that everything drops? Would he be held responsible by them?
I mean, I think so. Why would he have a statue of his head and a piece of neck missing?
Is he the boss?
There's two more.
Okay, so there's two more people that are equally as powerful as him.
Masterminds. 3 masterminds.
Okay. I just want to say, do you guys have Cash Apps?
Yeah.
Okay, call out your Cash App.
Yes, I do.
Each one of you at a time. Call out your Cash App.
Angel Face 777.
Angel Face 777. $ in the front. Cash App, donate, support Zabella. Queen Prodigy, what's yours?
It is Queen Prodigy 369.
Queen Prodigy 369. I will have that in the descriptions of our other lives and this live. Support these young ladies, everybody. And you know mine's TheCzarr, spelled CZARR, Cash App. Now, let's get a little bit more into it. Now, knowing that there's other bosses, have any of these other bosses disenfranchised you or tried to disorient or assault you?
Yes.
Have any of them succeeded?
Yeah. So I have to start over in my career all over again.
Okay.
Because of them down-talking me.
Okay.
And like I said yesterday, that is discrimination.
So have any of them did something to physically penetrate, to assault you?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of them did do stuff to you.
Yeah.
And with that said, was he someone that you showed me the document of giving you that oath with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was he allowing others to try and do stuff with you too? Or did he just hold himself to you?
No. Rojas, Lil Pump, Smoke Perp. Smoke Perp never went through with it.
Okay, so is it possible they were going at him because he's moving different? He's moving authentic, and they didn't like that.
Yeah, that's why he's not around them. You know, that's the same thing that happened in Dog.
Okay, we're staying away. We're staying away from names, but yes, I knew he was authentic. I knew that for a long time. Now, let's get into something else. Dealing with these situations, how do these other guys who don't work and stuff get paid? Do they have specific women that come back to them?
Sometimes, and if not, they're just drug dealers or bloods, if you want to be specific.
What is that? Or what?
Or bloods.
Is that, are you making gang affiliation references?
Yep. That's one of their main things, actually.
Okay. So do they have a real set that they ride with?
They have pictures with them online.
No, okay. I think I know what you're referencing to. Is this in reference to someone else who's a superstar?
Yes.
So his team is also linked to these guys?
Yeah, they're all linked together. They're all linked together. They all know each other.
Well, has he showed up at a party before?
Not that I know of, but after X died, one of our old manager's homeboys was actually hosting a party for that person. And that day that Queen Prodigy called me, they actually had a meeting with him in the house. That's why they were trying to, you know,
so they invited one of his peoples there to speak, like an ambassador.
Yeah.
Got you. So they were showing him a good time, entertaining him, and giving their praise to this other superstar.
Well, remember, that other superstar can't really ever do anything himself, so...
Okay. And
just a quick question: does this other superstar's name start with a figure that B was actually saying that, you know, if D came through and D happened to splurge a whole bunch of money and wanted to have a party, he wouldn't deny it because the money would be too good?
No,
regardless of his loyalty to TheCzarr.
I want to remind you, this live stream, it reacts to what's being talked about. So when I say something, it's definitely for a reason. So moving forward from that ideology, I need to know this one part. Okay. Yeah. Was there a music video going on at Riva Motorsports the day that it happened?
I don't know that, actually. But that whole weekend, they kept inviting me to do music videos.
Queen, do you know of this?
As far as there being a music video while Ja was at Riva?
Well, going on before, prior to his arrival.
I'm not too aware of that.
That sounds like a celebration.
Okay. So all of this understood, things going on. Do you know one of the suspects to be an individual that he punched in the face?
Yeah.
So that's 100% one of the suspects.
Yeah. And then another one he recorded with in his room across from my room.
Okay. So being that that's the case, do these managers and people feel protected from situations because the way they use these people who may have true affiliations?
Probably, but money can only hold you back for so long.
Well, it doesn't sound like, it sounds like they're cutting their deal short with the amount of money being what I now know to be the amount, the average and level of money that could potentially be coming in.
Yeah. So
why are these other guys affiliated around the situation allowing themselves to be cut short? Is it possible that one of them are truly a lover of one of the other people?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why certain people left.
Okay. And this is what I presume because, and I'll state it later. We'll get there later. Goodness. So seeing this and understanding how these things work together, when the stories and information was released And I'm talking about when it was first released. Who was the one making direct invites to the funeral?
A little bit of everybody.
So it was sort of a group chain where one person told another person and they told somebody.
Yeah, and then they had another funeral right after that, actually, on Friday. They had one on Wednesday, then they had one Friday.
What was the difference between the Wednesday and Thursday funeral? I mean Friday funeral. Sorry.
He had the one he had was an open casket viewing, and then his second funeral was a Buddhist funeral.
Who did the Buddhist funeral? Whose idea was that?
That was his.
So he wanted a Buddhist funeral?
Yeah, but only one person knew about that.
And how close was this one person?
Very close.
Like blood related close? Okay.
Very, very close.
So are you saying that they're correct in thinking he wanted that, or did they assume he did?
I'm saying they would assume because everything happened too fast.
Okay. Do you guys have any knowledge of the mausoleum being built prior?
We had no idea. I had no idea. I found out the second month, and I went on his anniversary day. I actually have a picture there and everything. I had no idea that he was going to have that there, exactly there.
Okay. So with all this known that we now have talked about, we're going to get on to the speed round questions. Din, 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 din. I guess I'd have a tune, but whatever. You rocking with the czar. We moving how I gotta move. This is when I ask somewhat more specific questions, but I want you to answer them with a yes or a no. Okay. I don't need an explanation. You too, Queen. Seriously, a yes or a no. Are there more practitioners, to your knowledge, in the similar arts from what was witnessed at the party? Zabella first?
Yeah.
Queen?
I'm sorry, when you say practitioners with similar arts, are you talking about as X?
No, I'm talking about as was done at the party, Zabella has explained.
As far as at the funeral, I cannot speak on that because I wasn't there.
No, I'm not asking at the funeral. I'm saying in general. Are there other people around the situation that we do not see blatantly that at every party that, to your knowledge, may practice the same practices?
From what I would understand and from my recollection, I would probably say maybe there are a few from what I can tell.
Okay.
Well, remember, a couple people went out of town before anything went down dirty, too. So.
Well, here's the thing I want to say about that. You can't say just because someone left that they're indicating as something if they weren't there. My problem is the people that were around and were there weren't there. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. There's one thing for me to go and handle my own business. It's another thing if I'm there, but I'm not there. So, but now when something happens, everybody shows up and it's a party. Like, we got your memory. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Because if these people had these intentions and they were literally showing up at some point to this establishment, you had some predisposed knowledge to know they weren't truly friends. Because the best way to see people who aren't friends is when you look from the background and you see something shaky.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking.
That Ja had a lot of paranoia towards the end of his life. So there could have been situations to where people were possibly accused or to where people just knew certain information that was about to go down and stayed away. So that needs to be known.
Basically.
Now, someone was alleging that the witnesses, the fake witnesses, were friends of someone who claimed to have been close to X. Do you know this to be true or not?
Say that again.
Someone told me that these fake witnesses had some level of friendship to someone around X who he may have dated, may have been involved with. Is this true or false?
Yes.
From what I have investigated from other sites, it's been stated that other social media platforms who do Sesame Street hip hop news have some sort of relation with these crisis actors.
So here's another thing, and I'm just putting this out there for thought purposes, okay? We now know that some of the people around the situation may have been in and out of other houses, but the thing about this is, it's even if we're presuming they were in at some point and then out of a house, are they connected to the same management that allowed X to meet them? Would it be all or a few?
All.
Okay, so there was a common place between multiple people. Would that include the person that recorded the audio of X?
Yeah.
So why is it that they act so nonchalant? And let me say this. So is it safe to say that if a woman says they hung out with him and around him and everybody else all the time, that they may be subjugated to making oaths that may use their body?
Yeah.
So if this is the case, let me ask you, Queen Prodigy, from a psychic perspective, what do you pick up from dealing with this type of mentality that these women have to stay around an environment that exposes them to oaths in order to make a living?
Well, for one, when you have to examine the family dynamic that they come from, and usually most of them come from broken homes, but on top of that too, love is not in the question, and the closest thing to love that anybody can get is attention and money. So that would probably be the main objective behind it, to feel some sort of endorphin or some sort of high of feeling sexy or feeling pretty or whatever the situation may be. Low self-esteem is a hell of a drug.
So now we understand all the moving parts around the lack of investigation, or let's say the falling short. If we are to look at this, do you believe that someone potentially is riding around looking for revenge on these very men who could have caused this situation to X?
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Okay, so with that known, do you believe they're just waiting for the right time to handle business?
Yeah.
And do you believe that they're unaware that these men actually want revenge on them?
I think they're aware, but they don't care right now because they're too cocky to focus, and they're on too many white lines.
Okay, so let's say potentially we're looking at the crime scene. We're just moving in and out of topics because we're not trying to spend too much on examining a topic more than getting a census.
Yeah.
Do you believe there was assistance in these suspects, if they are allegedly guilty, having assistance to get out of the crime scene?
Yeah.
Now, is this true or false? Is there train tracks behind Riva Motorsports?
Yeah.
So,
True.
do you know this to be the truth?
Yeah.
So, again, Toby Brown, you made a good point. He's talking about the fire truck, which I well understand, but there was an investigator that released this story a certain way, so we read it a certain way. So I do not know truth within around or anything because expertise is now involved. But within the near future, do you think it's possible that some of these men that were involved are going to secretly be one by one targeted for another's growth?
Yeah. It happened already. It's
Don't
Psych-
that. No, don't say nothing. Okay. Now, here's another thing. Us understanding that this is the case, are these investigators in danger of being targeted because of their knowledge of what it is that went on?
I doubt that
You doubt that. Why would you doubt that part?
from the first time, you know.
Okay.
And they've already gotten caught in their nonsense. So why try
Okay.
a second time?
Do you think
not
they're
get
going
away
to
with it
tell?
again?
Do you think that some of them are going to tell?
Yes.
Exactly. Because let me say this. In my opinion, the thing that most criminals forget is that at the end of the day, they're an investigator. That we've already confirmed a few of them have families. They're going to think about their family before they deal with the situation that you presented to them. And they don't realize it.
Yeah.
So that's just something we wanted to make clear. Now, dealing with this situation and thinking strategically about it, do you believe that these same investigators that we speak of could have allegedly tampered with the evidence around his demise?
Yeah.
Queen?
Yes.
I don't doubt it.
Queen.
It's taking too long to close the case.
Queen, have you ever done a reading for an investigator level affiliate?
Not to my knowledge. I don't believe that I have done one for an investigator affiliate at all.
Have you ever done one for a criminal?
Actually, funny enough, I believe that I may have maybe a few of them, to be quite honest. Not any active in this particular case, but I have done for a few on a very general level.
So from this being the case, regarding the affiliates, is it possible that, Queen, you have allegedly had interaction verbally with any of these affiliates?
Well, actually, as far as affiliates close to TheCzarr, is that what you're assuming?
No, affiliates altogether that could potentially. We're not saying they are affiliated with the situation, but yes, I guess in a sense affiliated around him.
Correct.
Did you feel any ominous vibes during a conversation?
There are times where I felt comfortable energy with certain people, and then there were others that I've interacted with, and sometimes Ja would be in my third eye, just literally staring people down, and pretty upset.
Okay. So knowing this, would you presume? Well, no. Let me say this. Zabella, has anyone gone missing around any of the affiliates or party scenarios?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 people.
And when we say missing, it means that you know them, that they didn't move or no life change happened, or they didn't get cold shoulders and just turn their back.
It's a little bit of both. I was there through everything. I saw everything. It was a little bit of envy. It was a lot of envy.
Have you ever seen any of these individuals attacked and then you never saw them again?
Only like 2 of them.
Were these male or female?
One was a female, one was a male.
So this female till this day has not been seen at all.
No. Last I saw, that person was hanging out with them. And
just say manager or director.
Manager. This was actually last year, around like March.
So since then, she's disappeared off the face of the earth. You know, not her moving or anything, or like no one has any details on where she went to.
Exactly. No one knows at all. Apparently she's with a sugar daddy living with him, but I don't know where she's at, and I don't believe it. Because she was last seen with the manager hanging out with him.
And did he give the narrative that she went? Is he the only one with a narrative about where she went?
Him and my manager.
Okay. Did she take any oath?
Yeah, that's why she got beat.
What about this male? Did he take an oath?
I don't know, but he was walking around the house stealing stuff and talking crap. So somebody decided to beat him in the bathroom.
It was another man beating him, or did he do it solo or with other people?
It was John, and our manager made him do it.
But we did not see this, so it was allegedly somebody. And again, we're not saying names. I'm just asking in general.
Yeah, there's actually a video.
Okay.
I was living there.
And you're saying that this man, after his scenario, was never seen again?
No. He used to clean the house for us. I don't know what happened. Apparently he stole something. X locked me up in my room for like an hour.
Okay, you don't have to go into detail. I'm just asking. Okay, so understood that this is a situation that you're saying occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to say this director and or manager always has a bunch of other men around them?
Yeah. Always.
So they always got men around them. Do you believe that they're having funny they could allegedly be having more than friendship interactions with any of the surrounding people?
Yes. Just because of the vibe.
Okay, and this is the vibe of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. Queen Prodigy, what are your thoughts on this?
Thoughts on specific situations that are occurring that Bella knows.
Yeah, 1 second.
I mean, if It's not that far fetched. It's a very fast kind of lifestyle, and it doesn't really surprise me at this point because it seems to be condoned and accepted.
That's how they party.
Okay.
That's how they party.
Okay. So, have you ever had a shock factor walking into a room when something was happening between two males?
No. Like I said, the doors were always closed.
Okay. Have you ever seen two very synonymous males walking out together?
Yeah. When my best friend, when they had my best friend in the back room. But she couldn't even talk. She didn't tell me what happened. She left right away.
So she walked out and just left?
Yeah, she waited like an hour or two, and then she left.
So I want to ask this. Any of the managers of TzxTentacion, have they ever attended these parties?
Yeah.
Is it someone that we've seen in a picture before?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. Our old manager co-signed another manager onto him, and it was a kid around his age actually managing him for a little and hosting his parties and stuff. And that's the kid I got like the weird vibe off of. Like I would always tell him to be careful, but he didn't care. And I think he's stupid for affiliating himself into this.
So did this manager that we seen in the picture, did he ever interact with any women or men at the party?
Yeah, all the time.
So he was literally swapping spit with other men?
No, not like that. Not like that.
Okay. Was he swapping spit with women?
Yeah. There's sometimes I would wake up and they would be doing a scene in the living room.
So was girls always being paid for doing interactions like this?
Yeah. He's been in the industry for like over 10 years now. I just started. I've been in this for like 6-7 months now. Not even. Yeah.
They're from the state of Florida. Florida is just a hotbed of sex nonstop. It's all about shallowness and looks and, basically pleasures, guilty pleasures.
Are these men praised in the industry?
Only the two managers I've had.
Okay. Understood. So here's my thing. Was there ever a scenario where you walked in, there was no woman, there was just these managers or the other men in the house making a scene together with each other?
No.
Okay. So that being known, but it is clarified that they not only like the modern the traditional intercourse, but they have partaken in intercourse with an individual who's transitioning into the looks of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's now known. Let that be on record that is allegedly the situation that could have occurred. So in the industry, individuals who participate in the abnormal actions, they get paid more or the same?
It depends.
Okay, break it down for me. How so?
If you're doing guy, you actually do get paid more.
Okay.
Just because it's something rare.
Okay. Got you. So aside from these scenes, so when the camera's off, do these has someone ever met up and redid the scene without cameras rolling?
Only the girls that I know of.
Okay, so after they do a scene, they'd meet up with the actor and do the scene again without getting paid?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually went through that a couple times too, but not with them, with people affiliated around them. I was always having a problem because of them opening their mouths and trying to, you know, discredit me.
Have any of the suspects been in any of the rooms at any point in time throughout your knowledge?
My room, Dusty's old room, our old manager's room, the living room.
So did any
Remember,
of
I said there's cameras in the house.
were these suspects, these alleged suspects, performers?
Yeah. Only 2 of them.
Were they in the house with any of the other women we've seen publicly speaking on this situation?
Stop.
Were they in the house with any of the people that were allegedly mentioning? Were they like the women that came forward and have spoken publicly? Were they in the house with them at any time?
Yeah, some of them used to live with me there, and then they left. I'm the only one who stayed coming back, but because I was having issues or someone with somewhere to go.
Have you ever been in any of these rooms with more than one man?
Yeah, but just to smoke.
So it's never been a behind the scenes interaction where they did stuff with you? Huh? I can't hear you.
The one that was sending the threats.
So just him, but you got to answer. So you've never done stuff in any of these rooms with more than one individual?
No, only John. That's because he slept in my room and we were together.
Has the manager, not the manager, has the homeowner ever tried to force you to do something?
Yes, several times. At least 4 or 5 times. And then he would stop and just kick me out the room and send me to my room. And I kind of like overheard what would happen. He would just stay in my room with me to make sure I was okay.
Do you think you were not pressed because you did not take an oath?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a second.
All right. So, Queen, what are your thoughts on these men that are forcing women to do things? I know you sort of spoke as an activist, but in general, is it not the problem that men forcing women to do stuff versus men who are taking a shot to speak to a woman?
I mean, we live in this patriarchal society where men are more valued in general. So I hate to say it like this, but we have to change the way that we see our society and the way that our young women actually value themselves. And that seems to be the main issue, is that as women, unfortunately, we were taught that we're supposed to be less than as far as when it comes down to the male species, but actually we're the most complete species on this planet.
Okay. So here's the thing. We now talked earlier about the fact that only one went to authority. Certain things happened a certain way, but there was women taking oaths in this situation. I now understand that there was more interactions around the situation. We spoke of how a few relevant affiliates disappeared. That has not yet been solved. We spoke about how the investigators and their interaction and how literally they could have allegedly been involved in some of the abuse. And we have that list. I got that list. So here's my thing. Knowing all of this, do you have any proof that one of these individuals who showed up to the party were exactly one of the powers investigating this case in some way, shape, or form? I know she said, wait a minute. Maybe we got to wait a minute. So I'll just work with you, Queen, and then I'll ask her when Zabella's back. So us looking at it, Queen, what is your analysis on the fact that people have been making accusations about certain people that are closer than it? And I'm just asking what your thoughts are on this being talked about. Do you think it's fake, or do you think that they're trying to indicate to us some type of reasoning?
I would say that
you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Okay, I will propose it in a different way. What are your thoughts? The next question. What are your thoughts on investigators being indicated to the situation? Do you think this is a normal occurrence when dealing with cases like this? Queen? Did you guys drop out? Okay, I don't really know what's going on as far as them being prevalent to being in that place, but my whole understanding in dealing with this is that if I'm looking at this situation and I'm starting to see investigators interacting within this place, but then I'm also looking at people making accusations which have no proof. Could it be investigation techniques are covering up, releasing the proof to try to prove certain scenarios dealing with certain people? That's ultimately my thoughts as far as that could go. But what I don't understand is we're still missing footage. There's still footage missing. Not only is there still footage missing, we still have people that are having negative interactions behind the scenes with women, with investigators present, and nothing's happening. So are we to say that these people not speaking up are not compromised? Are they? How does an investigator stick to a code when you also hold your hand on a Bible to add to a code of upholding the law, but in the backside you're breaking the law? These are very curious matters.
Here's the situation. We're seeing a large disadvantage with our judicial system, with our government, with the police. So it's sad to say this, and I hate to say it in a pessimistic way, but I know that a lot of people aren't really used to this kind of behavior at this point in time. And the thing is, it would be nice that, you know, integrity would be the number one integrity of honor to which it should be in the first place. But people value corruption, money, and deceit. And this is the reason why, even when the third suspect went to Georgia, that was a bit questionable, because that meant that this other individual who was taking things from the crime scene, or the alleged suspect was taking things from the crime scene, happened to cross state borders, to which that could have been manipulated, or someone could have had conversations with someone else in the state of Georgia. And that would make a very strong connection, because let's keep it real. Ja did have issues with the Migos and did have issues with Drake, and they have a big pushing in Florida and in Georgia. Even when I went down to Florida, funny enough, I was expecting to hear some music from Jase. Not a damn thing was playing except for the Migos and Drake on repeat.
And the Rolling Peace. That's the only song that freaking plays down here, Rolling Peace, with him and Kodak.
Yeah, I like that song too. It's a good song. I think they're both talented artists. Now, here's what I want to put up so that we kind of end it. You know, we're gonna be back at 8:30, but this time we're gonna turn up. I'm gonna get on earlier with them, and this will be the first time I discuss any questions we're gonna do, where I talk about the whole format. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're gonna be back on it, and I have some more intricate questions that I'm gonna propose so that we get a deeper understanding of different identifying factors that lead us to the stronger case of different things I discussed. So now in the fourth quarter, Czarr's going to go down the different videos he did, and we're going to discuss them one by one throughout this, and I'm going to get their exact opinion on it. I reached to actually get more information as far as what they best could add to the situation, and I want to see their perspective on what it is that TheCzarr has put together. I thank them for making time. Queen Prodigy and Zabella, I will see you both at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Hit that like button. Again, let them know your cash apps.
Angel Face.
Again, go ahead.
Say it louder, Zabella.
Angel Face 777.
So Angel Face 777, $ in the front. Support Zabella as she puts in her work on this microphone. Queen Prodigy.
Had to cash sign Queen Prodigy 369. Also hit me up on Instagram at Queen Prodigy 369. You can also find me on Queen Prodigy on YouTube and Twitter.
Okay. Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to inspire them to speak out, but don't miss the fourth quarter. It's going to be lit because it's going to be even different in my questioning. This one was kind of doubled down on the analogy and ideology of what was actually going on around, that it could have been disagreement that literally took people to a different mind state to act and behave in a different manner than that of which we know to perceive as we speak. So it's no clear indication. That's why I thank them for making time. I thank everybody for coming by. Hit that like button. This will also be posted on their sites so that you're able to see it. And I look forward to seeing their growth from it. We have a part 4 coming up again tonight. Don't miss it. Wherever you're at, it's going to be between 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're not getting notifications, unsubscribe, subscribe, and hit the bell. That will refresh your notifications. And when they get back, we're going to get more into detail. You rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. You know how to hit me up in the descriptions. Everybody rock with the movement. And, you know, YouTube, play nice with TheCzarr. You already know how I move. Thank you, ladies, for joining me at this moment. We'll be back together in a few hours. I look forward to hearing your answers. You know how I rock. All rights reserved.